Hey guys, it's me again, Joel, UBC Reader, and welcome to another video. And for today, I am not going to do a book haul, finally. I am going to do a sort of wrap-up. It's basically a set of book reviews of the books I finished reading for the past couple of weeks or days. So we'll start with the book I finished first, and that's going to be The House at the End of the Cereal Sea by TJ Klune. This book is really famous in the community. I've seen it a lot of times on Bookstagram, also on the people I really follow and admire here in the booktube. I was quite hesitant at first of picking that because of the hype, because I had some history with hypes when it comes to books. But I gave it a shot, and I just read it on my Kindle because a physical copy was really expensive here in the Philippines, and since it's a risk, I just have to, be safe. Read it without spending a lot of money. And to make the long story short, I did really enjoy reading it. It was, for me personally, overhyped, but it's not a bad thing because the book is still good, the book is still great. It was not as good or great as what I've heard from other people, but it was not a bad read. I did really enjoy it. An adult fantasy, it's a standalone. So if you're really looking for a standalone fantasy that's going to give you good vibes, basically that's what I felt reading the entire book. Just a good vibe books, no drama, just it's like an escapism, or like you're just taking a vacation into the secluded island. I really love also the characters. They were really memorable. It's not more of a plot driven, though there was a little bit of plot. But I think what I really love about the book is not the plot, but more on the characters and how it made me feel during my reading experience. I totally understand now where the hype is coming from. It was just really an easy read, feel good read, best book to read probably in summer if you want to have a getaway from your busy life in the city. So yeah, highly recommend it, and I might pick a physical copy if I can find one that's cheaper in the future. But yeah, I would like to thank all of those people who really forced me to read The House at the End of the Cereal Sea by TJ Klune, and I love it. I also highly recommend for you guys who are still hesitating to read it to pick it also. You'll definitely enjoy it. And I gave it around 3.5 out of 5 stars. The same setup, in case you're going to hear some of my cats in the background noise, please forgive them because they just really want to be part of the video. Them making noises is them, letting you guys know that they're the boss here. The next book I finished after reading The House at the End of the Cereal Sea is going to be a young adult fantasy. So it's a back-to-back fantasy for me. And this is Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. The main reason why I picked this is because one of the booktuber I follow and really admire this is one of her all-time favorite young adult books. And I was kind of intrigued. And at the same time, also saw a very affordable copy of this on one of the National Bookstore sale here in Cebu. It was really affordable, around 199 pesos. It could be converted around $4 only, or even less. To be honest, to make the long story short, I didn't like it. I was actually expecting a lot from this book, but it was able to somehow meet my expectations, but it was not enough. So my main issue about this book is all about the pacing. So it really started really strong, and then towards the middle up until the end, it kind of plateaued to me. So it was like this, and then this, and then a little bit, good things happened in the climax, but it was not enough for me personally for this book to save itself. It's very political. There will be a lot of dragons, what you can see in the cover. So we're going to follow two main characters with their two perspectives. So we're jumping from these two main characters every other chapter. So my main issue was the pacing. So I might have read this in the wrong time. So that's probably one of the greatest reason why this one did not work for me. So yeah, gave this one a solid 3 stars out of 5. So basically, it's still an average read, but it was not as great as I was expecting it. All right, the next book I've read is going to be another fantasy, but this time it's going to be under the age category middle grade. I have this physical copy for I got this from the UK Amazon UK sale a few months ago or earlier this year, and it was really cheap. And I've heard a lot of good things about Greybearer by Jordan. If I'm not mistaken, this is a debut novel, and this is the first book of a series. So I was under the impression that it's going to be a fantasy middle grade. I was correct about the fantasy, but with regards to the middle grade, it is middle grade. But upon reading this, I personally think that it's not middle grade because all of the themes, majority of the themes in the book, are really more leaning towards adult slash new adult. It's not even right to categorize this as a young adult because of the themes. But yeah, I guess where the people are coming from calling this a middle grade, since most of the characters or main characters are really young or in the middle grade. But that's one of my issue. That is one of my issue because these characters are really young, but the way they act or they decide on the situations that are happening in the books, they seem to be in disconnect of their age because they act like so maturely. They don't act like they're 13 years old or 14 years old, 15 years old. They act like they're 40s or 50s, which what is one of the cons for me. I was really having a hard time connecting to the characters and making this book believe what's really happening, making me believe what's really happening. I'll definitely going to pick the sequel of this book. I did really enjoy this one. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really great read. The atmosphere, it's really cinematic. I wish it was more descriptive, but it was just okay because I think if the author did more description on the surroundings or the characters, it will be a really long book. So it was okay for me, but you know, I'm being nitpicky. I wish it could have been described more, but it will not take, it will be not taken against the book since this one still has a great plot. The magic system was really simple. It was not really hard, not hard to follow. It's really easy to absorb. So yeah, I really did enjoy reading this book, and I hope you guys is going to guys going to pick this one up in the future if you're eyeing this book. The next book I've read is the book that I purchased. I've been eyeing this book for months now, and then the main reason why I wasn't able to pick this is because of the price. The price of this book is this is one of the most expensive book I've bought. It's a paperback copy only, very thin, around, let me see, less than 300 pages. But again, I'm a big fan of Emily St. John Mandel, and this is her newest piece, Sea of Tranquility. I've been a fan of Emily St. John Mandel since I've read her book Station 11. I also love the HBO TV show adaptation. This one is a solid 5 stars. This is under adult category and then under the science fiction genre. So if you're going to read the synopsis about this book, you'll definitely had the impression it's going to be a time travel. Yeah, it did. It did have some time travel, but I guess one of the main reason why I love this book is not because of the time travel element, but because of the lessons it taught me. I'm not going to talk a lot about this book because I believe that you have to check this book and read this book with less expectations and not really knowing a lot what the story is all about, because again, it's really intriguing. It's also really ambiguous, which is which are the reasons why I really love this book and gave it the 5 stars. Also, the writing style were really superb. So just a very short description of what the synopsis is all about. We're going to follow 3 timelines, and then at the first half, I'm just going to set an expectation that it might not really make sense. You don't really have any idea what's really happening, what the story is all about. That's what I felt in the first half of the book, literally. Since you're going to follow three different timelines, and you don't know how these timelines are going to connect. But again, this is marketed as a time traveling book, but I think this is more of a pandemic book, since I saw that the inspiration of the story is more on the pandemic. Why I really love about this book, because personally, one of my mottos in life is when I feel that I have to speed up, I need to really slow down, and this is actually the greatest lesson that this book is trying to deliver to the readers, especially during the times of the pandemic. What I really love about also this book is that we can really easily connect or empathize with the characters, since we've been into a pandemic. We've lived through pandemic for the past couple of years, and we know how it feels to be in the lockdown, to be to be out of our comfort zones, to be you know what it means to live to live during the COVID-19 outbreak. So this one was written or was really inspired during those times, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Emily. But yeah, it really teaches the readers how to really slow down, to really focus their energy more on what really matters, what really makes them human, like their relationship with the people, their hobbies, their passion, and not just really use most of their energy to their jobs, to their profession, or to the other things that are not really important. So this book is going to really open your eyes and really realize, okay, slow down, reassess yourself, retool yourself, and think what really matters to you, and are you really focusing on those things that really matters to you, or are you working hard on those things, or you're just wasting your energy on other stuff that is not that really important. I really love that kind of idea. I hope you're going to check this one out, because it's going to be, those ideas are going to be portrayed in this book in something that is new, something that is very ambiguous. Definitely one of my best book I've read this year, and probably an all-time favorite already. Together with Station 11. Emily St. John Mandel's writing style is also very unique. That's why I really love her. It might not work to other people, but please, if you want to check her book, check this one as soon as possible. I've heard a lot of people say that don't read this book, you need to read Station 11 first, or The Glass Hotel. I've read Station 11, I haven't read The Glass Hotel, but I think reading this one without reading the first two is okay. Those stories of the three books are not really connected. There were just little bits and pieces from those two first published books of the author that will be mentioned in this one, but they don't really affect the story nor the plot. So it's really safe to just read this before reading the other two. The next book I've read after The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel is another sequel to Less by Andrew Chandler, the one that won the Pulitzer Prize a couple of years ago. And this one, I didn't really expect that there will be a sequel to Less. And this second book is Less is Lost. For this one, you need to read Less first before reading this, because the story are really well connected. You won't be able to appreciate Less is Lost if you haven't read Less. So don't read this first. Read it in order. Where will I start? Probably this is literary fiction, adult literary fiction. All of the things I really love from Less is here. It's present. So it's an automatic joy for me, or a win for me, reading Less is Lost, even though it's really expensive. But I think it was all justified and still worth it after reading Less is Lost, because I really love Less. And again, as I mentioned, most of the elements I love from Less are also present in Less is Lost. But I think Less is Lost is a little bit, better than Less. That is because it's a new perspective, but it gave us a deeper understanding of who Les is, where he's coming from, and also I think the lessons that this book is trying to deliver to the readers is more relatable and better than the lessons that it was able to deliver on Les. I think on Les, it was more a majority of the lessons that the author wants to deliver is more on mental health problems, asking for validation, self-confidence. On this one, it's more on relationship with the people that really matters to you, and also balancing this relationship together with your other passions in life, like for example your passion in writing, your dreams, your aspirations, and your job, for example. So here I am going to avoid talking what the synopsis of Less is Lost, since this is a sequel and I don't want to spoil you, especially if you're planning to pick Less. But what I'm going to try to say is, if you're going to pick this book, if you've read Less and you want to pick this book, please know that there will be a lot of traveling, there will be snow, there will be dogs, there will be hot springs, there will be plays, there will be an old lady in a secluded island, there will be dramas, there will be a lot of jokes which might not work to all of the people, because we know if you've read Less, the humor of Less is not for everyone. So if the humor of Less works for you, just like American humor is really different from British humor. It might work for someone. The British humor might work for someone, but the American might not. It's the same thing that applies in Less. The humor of the author, the humor that he injects to the characters might not work for everybody. That's why I saw some people who hated the book because they don't really feel that the humor was, the jokes were landing. But thankfully, it did work for me. That's why I really love this book. So those are the things that I need to warn you. But anyway, if you didn't really like the humor of Less, those humor are still in Less is Lost. And yeah, it's really funny. This is more on relationship, not just a relationship with your partner, but more on relationship with your family, your immediate family, even your ex partners. So there will be a lot of lessons, but the greatest lesson I've learned and appreciated from this book is, there were times that we're going to be putting all of our energy to our job, to our aspirations, to the things that really where we can get money, and we tend to really forget the people that are with us, that really matters, and we tend to really sacrifice this relationship around us because we're really focused on our new promotion, our new job, our 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 new responsibilities in the office, and we are always taking these people around us for granted. And this is actually a real wake-up call, not just for me, but I think for all of the people that were able to read this, that it really needs to, there's some things that really need to be adjusted in your life. Oops. And now we're down to the last book I've read. I just finished reading this 3 days ago, just before the Christmas Eve. And this is The People We Keep by Alison Lark. It was actually really random. I did not really expect I'm going to pick this one up. I just saw a lot of people really loving this book. And then I have a digital copy, downloaded and sent it to my Kindle. And then I tried to read the first chapters, and then I caught myself reading probably a third of the book. And then I said, okay, I'll just have to finish this and see what happens. And I did finish it, and I will give it a 5 stars. And also, one of the best books I've read this year, for sure. It's a fiction, adult, contemporary / literary fiction. We're following our main character, Allison, who grew up without a mother because at a really young age, her parents split up, and then her mother really ran away. She's really looking for validation and attention from a parent, which she's not really getting because she does not have a mother. And his father is putting all his energy to this new girl and this upcoming baby. And then all that she dreams of, all of the attention that she's seeking, all of the validation seeking from her parents, is not being given to her, but instead being given to her step sibling, which is, painful and devastating to watch, to read rather. And she is really passionate when it comes to music. She really loves to compose songs and perform. So she ran off, stole the car of her father, and set off in this journey without any money. What she did is to just really play some music in the bar or do some playing on the streets, asking for money from the people that pass by. and the rest is for you to discover. So it's the people we keep from the title. She's going to meet a lot of people during this journey. Some might help her, some might test her, some might challenge her, but eventually it's all the people that we keep. What I really love about this book is it teaches us that we can always find family not from our literal family. It's just that we are not born together with our loved ones. We are not going to die together with our loved ones. But in the middle of living and dying with our loved ones, what's really important is to cherish those moments in between. And these loved ones are not going to be literally our immediate family. These are the people that you're going to meet along the way. It's a really special book. You might hate the character for her immaturity, which I did several times because she's going to run off without money, not knowing what to do, what to eat, where to stay. It was just a really impulse decision. That's the first thing I can remember that I really hated her. I don't know. She took a risk, but it was not a calculated risk, I think. So, which I really hate. Yeah, it's a solid 5 stars, and definitely recommend for you guys to check that one out. So, yeah, those are the books. I finally read a lot of books for the past weeks. So, total of 6. 2 are digital, 4 are physical copies. So thank you so much, guys. I'm going to do my best to post one more video after this one before the year ends. Probably a summary of all of the books I've read in 2022, and probably which of these books I've read are my favorites. We'll probably rank them. I don't know. I'm going to finalize that video. But as of this moment, yeah, I'm just going to share this wrap up with you guys, and hopefully you are having a great time before 2022 ends, and hope you guys are safe. Thank you so much for watching. This is me and Joey beside Reader. See you in my next video. Merry Christmas.